This photograph was, they call this guy a rocker box. And you put the material in the top and you pour water in there and you rock the thing. It's got a handle on it. You rock it back and forth, and the waste material is supposed to roll out the end, and the gold's supposed to stay in the wooden ripples that they have laying in the bottom of the box. Crude, but when you're working with nuggets like I did in those days, it worked quite well. Okay, this is another high banker, a little more sophisticated. Looks like they got the thing either a spring under the bottom or just jacked up in the air. But he's actually feeding the water with a bucket, which is a slow operation. But when they call it high banking, it means they're using the high bank of the river rather than being in the river itself. They're working the actual high bank. Here's some old miners there, and they've got what they call a long tom. They call it a long tom because the thing was about 10 feet or longer, and it just wooden slats with gunny sack in the bottom to catch the gold. Very crude, but when you're working the ore that they were working in those days, it was quite effective. This is me, the author. This is my first Gould gravity trap, and the spray bar is on top up there, and it's powered with a little small 2-cycle pump, probably 60 gallons a minute, and I'm feeding the ore in with a bucket, and the waste material will come out to the right, and the things on the side are poop tubes. They actually catch the gold. Well, this is another shot of the Gould gravity trap. This is the older trap that has the poop tubes on either side, and I'm feeding it with a bucket. This is a picture of Steve Hand, and he's also feeding the same gravity trap. We were probably up on Sore Finger Point in California at that time. And this is the gravity, I guess you'd say the mid one. We had the early development, the mid one, and then the final. So this is the mid development one. You can see I called this the suitcase model because it folded up into a suitcase, which I'll show later on. And you can see the poop tubes on either side. That does the final cleanup. And the top portion is the spray bar, the slick plate, and the grizzly, all built in to this device. This is the suitcase model, and you can see it's all folded up. It has a handle, I guess it's on the other side, where you can just carry it like a suitcase. And I made it for a gentleman that flies in an airplane a lot, and he wanted something he could put on the airplane as baggage. This is another picture of the mid one. It's showing the grizzly, and the unique part about this one, that hose comes in to the left. That was hooked up to a dredge nozzle. So this is what I call my combo, which means you dredge it up and then it comes into the grizzly and use a high banker instead of the bazooka. This is part of my early development stuff. And this is also the mid one with the poop tubes on either side. And you can see the water flowing down through it, shovel into the top. And another picture of the poop tube on either side, and you can see the small deaccelerators. The traps are after each accelerator, and I'm not shoveling it at this point. I'm just really showing the water flow. And this is a picture showing what high water flow looks like when you, I think this was either 30 gallons a minute or 60 gallons a minute, but when you run too much water, you get, even with that 1/4 inch little deaccelerators, that's how much the water bounces. So when you get that much, the gold's just going to pop on out of the thing. So that's what I'm trying to show. And this is a picture of Jack. He's using the Gould gravity trap as a river box, which means that there's no water going to it. The water is strictly out of the river, and he has a little grizzly that I invented that's on top of the thing. And this is Jack again shoveling into the grizzly. I guess right now he's shoveling into the dirt. He's trying to get some gravel. Okay, this is a faraway picture showing the area we were working. It's a very small creek. A lot of exposed bedrock, not the greatest place. It was just a good place to demo the device, so that's we didn't expect to get an awful lot out of that. That's another picture of Jack just digging away and then shoveling into that sluice box. And not sure what he's doing there, but I can't see whether he's panning or I guess he's moving rocks out of the way. That's what he's doing. And here Jack is actually panning. He's doing a little cleanup there, and he just wants to see what kind of color he's stirred up there. And this is another picture of Jack a little farther away. Like I say, the creek wasn't much there. It was just barely wide enough to work in, but there has been gold taken out of there. And showing Jack shoveling into the grizzly. Probably a lot of the same thing. And the weight tube he's eyeballing through there, that's called a scope. There's a lens at the bottom, and he's trying to see if there's exposed gold at the bottom that he can view. And more shoveling, more working. And he's taking his scope, he's using it like a thing to carry water in, and he's actually putting the water down the poop tube, and he's running it into a pan so he can do a cleanup. And he's back to shoveling again. It's just more of the same. And he's back to his scope again. He's just not going to give up till he finds something. Jack's very persistent. And Jack's he's still shoveling. He's digging more into the bank because there's a lot of places where the bedrock was showing. Of course, there's no gold where the bedrock is. And that's just a close-up of the river box, and you can get a better shot of the grizzly. And I think that shot there is just mostly so you can see what it looks like. And looks like Jack is panning again there. It's hard to pan in there because the water was so shallow. It was hard to get the pan in the deeper water. This is some of Jack's gold, not necessarily where we were just at, but some gold he wanted me to take a picture of, but it's kind of nice to look at. Another shot of Jack's gold in the bottom of the pan, shows up good with that black pan. And more of the same. I don't know why there's so many shots of that. This picture, Jack panning again. We just kept panning to see if there was any. No, we didn't have very good luck in this one spot because we had it after a storm, and a lot of the gold was washed out of there, the surface gold. And more shoveling, more working, more of the same. That's what gold recovery does. You spend a lot of time doing the same thing. More digging. And he's saying more to the bank there, try to cut into it a little bit because, like I say, there was a lot of gold taken out of this little creek. And again, a farther away shot. The blackberries over to the right, that was over on that side there, got hung up in the blackberries. It turned out not to be a great place to take photographs. And he's moving rocks out of the way, trying to clear a path to submerge the sluice box so we can get some water running through it. It doesn't work if you don't get any water going through it. And just another picture of the river box sitting by itself to just get a better view of it. And looks like Jack is taking it apart. He's got the grizzlies behind him, and I think what he's probably doing is getting ready to pull out the poop tube so we can look to see if we've recovered anything. Another picture of the suitcase dredge, the middle one. You can see the poop tubes there. It's probably a little better photograph. Everything, you take that one vertical brace down and the whole thing folds inside of itself and becomes a nice little compact suitcase. And this is just a picture of the spray bar. You can see it's a 360. There's water coming out of each one of those tubes. So you got a cross flow of water, and what we're trying to do is wash the gold and off those rocks and stuff. The rocks fall out through the grizzly onto the ground, and the good stuff goes through the grizzly and gets into the trap system. Another picture, you see the poop tubes on either side. This is the middle Gould gravity trap, and that's about the right amount of water flow you want through it. That's the perfect water flow. And of course this is too much water through, and that's what I was trying to demonstrate. Is this is how much action. You'll never see this without this high-speed photography, but it's just way too much water, and it just dances the gold right out the end. And this is also a high water flow here. Too much water. They're trying to demonstrate the same thing. You can get the coarse gold, but you're not going to get any fine gold with this amount of water flowing through it. And of course it's the same thing, way too much water, way too much water. And this is what I call my high capacity sluice box. The thing on the left was an experimental. It's called the roller grizzly. The little bars actually rotate, and very difficult to build. Once you grizzly out the material, it falls inside. The water's flowing from left to the right. It goes in through those little slots that you see in the tubes. They go into a piece of half poop tube in each one of those round tubes. The trash rock goes on out through it. The nuggets stay in between them. And this is more for a mining operation. Another picture of the high capacity sluice box. You get a better shot of what the grizzly looks like. Inside those tubes, there's a half of a poop tube. You just pull them out, dump them in a bucket, wash them out. That's your cleanup. A super quick cleanup. And this is the new Gould gravity trap, the latest one I designed. Very simple construction. You see there the top portion has two bends, so that's the left is one piece, the right is one piece, and then they're held on with pop rivets. There's a trough at the bottom that just pop rivets on, and that's to hold the poop tube. So very simple construction. This is the new Gould gravity trap, and it was just like the same picture I showed to the left, except we put the plate on top. There's two angle aluminum angles that are fastened onto that, and this just fastens on there with a couple pop rivets. You can see the deaccelerators, half-inch round tubes. They're raised off the deck about 1/8 of an inch, so they act like an airfoil, and as the water comes in it, the trash goes over the top smoothly, and the gold flows underneath there and gets swallowed up by the trap. Another picture of it, and you can see the poop tube underneath. The gold drops into there, and you just pull that tube out of there and dump it into a bucket and wash it, and that's your cleanup, about a 5-minute cleanup. Just another picture of the Gould gravity trap, except I've got legs on it. They're adjustable legs, and adjustments about 1 inch of height per 1 foot of length of the box. Another picture of the looking down at just the plate itself. You can see the angles that holds the assembly together. So you just pop rivet them on, and there's my pug Phoebe. She's admiring what a great job that it did. And this is the new gravity trap, and I think it's up on the Yuba, California. And you can see it's nestled in amongst the rocks. We had a lot of rocks we had to move, bar them to the side, and we did get a fair amount of gold out of there, but you had to really work for it. Again, another closer shot of the same place, nestled in the rocks. You can see this is the old grizzly. This is not the suitcase. This is one that is more conventional to what's on the market today. The top's a spray bar. The grizzly is where all the rock goes, waste rock goes out, and the good stuff goes in between the bars and gets trapped into the trap system. And another picture in the same area, and we moved it around because as we moved our location, you can only get so much. What we're actually doing is digging the sand out between the rocks during the high water. In that river, it rises probably 20 feet, and it deposits a lot of gold up there amongst the rocks, and that's what we were getting. This is me shoveling into the new Gould gravity trap, and this is up in the Consumas River, and we were probably 100 feet from the river, so we had to use all our hose, run it with a little 30 gallons per minute pump. Again, this is up on the Consumas, and you can just take in a shot showing the water going through it just to give you an idea of the flow. Another shot, and actually this is not the Consumas. This has the poop tubes on it. I don't have a clue where this one was. But again, the water flows just about right. You can see the poop tubes on either side. This was actually a good retrieval, but it was difficult to build because it had so many parts on it. But it did an excellent job. I didn't redesign it because it didn't work. I redesigned it because it was difficult making all those separate troughs, and it was really a hardship constructing one of these things. And I guess this is me. I'm doing more shoveling there at the Consumas, and still at the Consumas, and what I'm doing is I'm panning. The pan, you can't see it, but there's a little bit of water there that I'm trying to pan in. I'm actually probably sitting in a chair. You know, it's old guys, we gotta sit down after hard shoveling. And back to more shoveling. That's all it is. There's a lot of rocks there, so you got to scrape the rocks away with a shovel and then try to get some gravel. More shoveling, same old, same old. It's a lot of work. A lot more work than dredging, that's for sure. And again, just same old, same old. Unfortunately, the area we were in, that the river's probably 100 feet, and this riverbed probably is a good 400, 500 feet across. So during the winter, this whole thing floods, and that's what you're looking for, is that flood gold. And same old, shoveling more stuff in there, hoping to get a good nugget or something in there. And I'm actually getting behind it. I got into where that grassy area is, and the digging was a lot better there. I actually got some sand and rock I could shovel into. I didn't have to get out of those cobbles. And another view on the Consumas showing the water flow through there. Probably a secondary picture, probably a repeat. And another picture showing the flow. Side picture, and this is the old old bazooka, or old bazooka, the old gravity trap system. And you can see the grizzly is those little bars in there. The water flow comes down, washes the material off of there. The rock flows to the left. The gold drops down into the trap system. And this little dude is a high capacity system, which we talked to before. And this is old. It's hard to see because these pictures are so small from where I'm viewing. That's the old system there, the original gravity trap, Gould gravity trap. And this is the original gravity trap with the poop tubes, and we were in some real junky area here, and that's dirt and moss and all kinds of stuff that's going through there. A lot of times you can get some pretty good gold when you get into this stuff. Mostly just showing you what the spray bar does, and it's trying to wash the dirt, sand, and stuff off the rocks, because you don't really want to process the rocks. You want to process the gold that's sticking to the rock. So after it cleans it, the grizzly separates it out. So it's a process of washing it, cleaning it, and then separating it with the grizzly. Just another view, top view of the that's the old, no, that's the new system. That's the new Gould gravity trap. And too much water. And that's what I'm demoing. Turned up the thing. I just wanted to show you what happens when you get the water. You just blow your gold right through there. Unproductive. And I believe that's Steve Littner, and he's shoveling into the high banker on the Consumus. We traded off shoveling. A couple old dogs out there huffing and puffing. This is Steve again, and not sure what he's doing, checking the water flow. It might be adjusting the legs on it, hard to say. This is another miner used to miners, Steve Hand, and this is up on Sore Finger Point, and that was looking at the trough there. That was one of the earlier bazookas there that had the poop tubes on either side. And this is Steve Littner, and he's just shoveling away there. There's lots of work. We spent 8 hours at that claim doing a lot of shoveling, not a working. And I'm not sure why I took that shot, because the legs have been set right and all the water's going off the left hand side. So you got to shorten the right leg to get it to flow right. I don't know if that was an accident or whether I was trying to demo the improper way to operate it. Another picture that's on the Yuba, and you can see it where we nestled it into the rocks. Pretty rough getting into there. It's I used a rope to get down to it because it was we were in December. We were slippery, icy. It was really bad elements to be working in. And again, this is the earlier bazooka with the bazooka Gould gravity trap, and that's about it. This is a picture of Steve, and he's probably up on the Yuba, and was sitting there amongst the rocks there, and he's getting ready to go to work there. We're just getting the thing in the position. Another shot of it up on the Yuba. We moved it into another position to work. Another picture behind my house there, and the sunset has come up. The sun is reflecting off the clouds. Awesome pictures. That's me panning away, probably up on the consumus. Did a lot of panning up there. This is, of course, showing some of the gold that we were getting. There's a lot of black sand there, and then there's probably hidden in there, there's probably half to an ounce of gold inside that black sand. And if you get the black sand, you're going to have gold mixed in it. That's where it hides. This is actually some of Jack's gold, mostly nuggets, and just threw it in there, give you an idea of comparison of nuggets versus finer gold. And this is a little more gold, a little different spot, a lot more gold there. That's probably the 1 ouncer, because there's a lot of heavy gold in there, and this device gets both fine gold to 200 mesh and also up to nuggets, and this is just coarse gold. And this is one of Jack's specimens there. It looks like a rabbit. That's probably a good a 1.5 ounce nugget, that little rabbit. And more of the gold and black sand. More of me panning. It's a continuous job. If you want to see what you got to do a lot of panning. You can't just do a lot of working, because you got to know whether you're productive. If not, you move to another spot. And you can see there's quite a bit of gold concentrated in there. I don't measure each one, but not till I get home usually. A lot more panning. You can see the black sand in the bottom there. The place we're at, we had a lot of black sand, and if you try to pan too much out, you start losing your gold, your fine gold. Now this was a hot spot here. That's probably well over an ounce, 1.5 ounces, and a lot of heavy gold. I think that was probably up in Wairika, towards the Oregon border in California. And that's after we panned out the gold. That's probably a 1 ounce bottle, so a lot of larger size gold, and more of that coarser gold mixed in with the black sand. This strange looking thing is actually a gold pan. Underneath the gold pan is a circular magnet, round magnet. It was my early attempts to use a magnet to separate excuse me, the black sand from the gold. Unfortunately, it didn't work. What it did do was capture the gold, so it held the gold. The only way I could get it out was to remove the magnet. And this is a lot of gold. This is there's probably 12 ounces of gold in there. Just took it out of the bottles and poured it in there just to show you what a bunch of gold looks like in a pan. This is my son, Reggie Gould Jr., my 2 grandchildren, Kayla to the left and Caitlin to the right. And unfortunately, my son's no longer on this earth, but he's in a better place. This is my wife, 50 years marriage. She's not on this earth either. She joined my son about a year before he passed. And she got the wrong idea when I said we were going out. She thought we were going to a nice place, so she dressed the wrong for the venue we were at.